the internet here.
We're live.
Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing well tonight. Sorry for the little delay there. We had a little bit of traffic issues trying to get here. We're obviously not at our normal place. Springs.
You
need to mute yours.
There he is.
So, yeah. So, again, we are FunkyBrims. We are in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Normally, we're actually out in Palm Springs today. So that's why it's a little bit different. Again, apologies for being late. Really hate that, but appreciate everybody waiting and jumping on. And Colin and Jenna and Matt, appreciate you guys all jumping on again as well. So wait for everyone to get on for just a second here, but we do have the drop tonight, 8 o'clock, so about 52 minutes or so from now. It's the one I'm wearing here, Aloha Meurtos. And before we get into all the caps and everything, let's let Colin start off with the inspiration for this one and the story.
So basically, I had always wanted to do shaka with sugar skulls. I have a thing for sugar skulls. I used to collect them and all that good stuff. Still do whenever I see a cool one. I got a lot from Mexico that are hand painted and all that good stuff. So I've always wanted to do a shaka, just never really knew what we wanted it to look like or how to do it. And as all good stories start off, late one night in a garage while I was drinking some whiskey, all of a sudden I had a light bulb moment. And I think, I don't know, it was like a couple of days later, I was on the phone with Matt, basically going, hey, I think I got this figured out. And here's what I'm thinking. And I let him sort of take it from there.
Matt never knows what Colin's going to throw at him.
Yeah.
No, not usually.
Yeah.
Matt, share how you had to create this beautiful design because it was so intricate.
Yeah, I mean, it basically went down just like Colin said. We had a phone call and he explained kind of what he was thinking of doing and what two cultures he wanted to kind of mash together. And it was one of those ones where I kind of took a seat back for a minute, went, okay, yeah, I hear you. I think I can make that work. And then pretty much that day just started designing stuff. I think I started with the sugar skull itself, and then went in and started doing all the other details and laying it out and just trying to make the colors really pop and work together and make these two cultures really just mesh so that it made sense.
Yeah, I know that it's very vibrant. I think I told Matt at the time, let's lean on some real tropical, vibrant colors, which teals and blues and pinks always look really, really nice together, especially whenever you have a black backdrop that really highlights those colors. And, I think Matt nailed it. I've seen some comments where people are saying, that we pulled out all the stops and used the entire box of crayons on this one.
Sure.
That's a funny one, but yeah, Matt definitely. The good thing whenever we do these shakas, and Matt can get into it a little bit as well. But the cool thing about doing the shakas is they are just pulling basically blank white material that we have done in a 97.3 off the wall, and then they run it through like a giant printer that prints the pattern on one side. So unlike the flannels, where whenever we're weaving a pattern together, we actually have to give them specific Pantones to actually weave the pattern together in those Pantones. Whenever it comes to a shaka, I mean, we can literally do as many colors as we want, get as detailed as we want. We can do gradients and fades and all of that good stuff. Because they, at the end of the day, they don't care about the Pantones or the colors. They're just running it through a printer.
And Chris, I
lost because of salt here and there.
Yes, Chris, I got to give it to you. When the caps showed up for the photo shoot, they were some of my very favorite. I don't know if you want to show everybody your caps.
I think that one you have on is the one that doesn't have the shaka on the inside.
It has a shaka on the inside. Yeah, we'll start here. There are 3 caps tonight. So this one we called the abstract flat cap because it's flat cap, and but this is a fabric that was it's one that Alfonso Dest had used a couple of years ago, and I knew it was kind of sitting there, and I told them to hold it back because that there's going to be something come along that we we can use that for. And then when I saw the colors, I mean, laying it out, it just really kind of matched great. So we were definitely like, we need to use that one. And yeah, it has the turquoise underneath, and we figured out that the shaka material is absolutely great to use as a liner. So we may bring that back here and there as well. But that just the texture of it and the way it's made and the way it lays and all that stuff. So we're able to use that. You got to have some of the fabric in the cap somewhere. It's kind of something we've always wanted to do. So this one is the abstract flat cap. This one's going to be $80. That same material, the patchwork newsboy is $84. And this is one of my favorites too. So we're going to have the shaka fabric alternating. And then next to that, it's a really deep teal. I think a really nice match for some of the colors that are in the shirt. And then you have that abstract material we were just looking at. And then we just, to keep the funkiness going, we put in this sort of material, the squares and diamonds, depending on how you look at it. And so the 8 of those is the patchwork newsboy, $84. And then, of course, last but not least is just the shaka flat cap itself, which is this one. And it's going to be $76. And all of those will come, we'll let Matt talk for a second about his process with the pens and all that we go for. But the pen for this one is, if you like that sugar skull, this is a great pen. Came off of it, Matt nailed it. And so that's the pen that will come with all these shirts. And then I think we have somewhere like 30 to 40 extra ones that'll be for sale as well. And the pens just individually, but not a whole lot of those this time. So, that's it.
Heck yeah.
So, Matt, why don't you talk for a second about, both the sugar skulls, but like the process with the pins. And, I know you get feedback from me sometimes and we do it, but, and again, I think I'll let you talk for just a second about this is all, hand drawn and all of that, not AI pins, not all that stuff. And that's something that we're proud of. I know it's a big deal to Colin and Jenna that, this is all original artwork, and Matt's certainly a professional artist. And, it's been a part of this, since the beginning with Hales, and he was introduced a couple of weeks ago. But there'll be a few people that are on tonight that may not have heard that. So, give a little background on yourself again, real quick, and then kind of talk about that process.
Yeah, sure. So it's been what, 5 years or almost 6? Yeah. So it's been a while. Working with Hales, doing basically all of the merch design and graphics to go along with the flannel releases. I've honestly lost count of how many we've done. It's a pretty hefty catalog now. And then FunkyBrims kind of came along, and we started working with them and using what we do for the flannel release and just kind of altering it to work with FunkyBrims. Definitely no AI. That's a huge thing. The AI generated stuff is kind of a nuisance, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's affected a lot of people in my industry. It's put some guys just straight out of business. So I'm definitely not down with that. I don't think any company, big or small, should ever put forward an AI generated image as a final product. It just, honestly, it's not a good look. It's cheap. It looks bad. It tells your clientele that you're willing to cut corners. If you want to use it as concept work, as something to get your idea down to then work with an artist, that's fine. That's totally cool. We can do that. But yeah, it's definitely never going to be a final product. And I think just on that note, I think, customers and clientele are being able to, they're identifying it and calling people out on it. There are print shops now that won't print any AI stuff. I know some guys that won't go to car shows if the flyer is AI. They're over it. And I think, and rightly so. But to circle back with your pins and the tags inside, we use the existing art that we have and modify it. The pins are always something that I find a little challenging because I don't know the limits yet. And that is something that both Colin and I like to find, is how far can we push this?
And we pushed it pretty far on some of them. I think it's interesting sometimes to just look at the evolution. The Butcher was the first one we did till now. And certainly there's things like, oh, we could have pushed that more, or man, I would have, done this hat a little more interesting, today. But it's a process and you learn, and it's interesting. And I think we've got a good vibe. And by the way, you killed it on just all the artwork for the graphics that we posted this week. Again, all those being the original and all that, and that being kind of our process process back and forth moving forward. I think it's going to be great to have that.
Yeah, there's definitely been a few pins where Colin and I have been talking, like, is this going to work? And Colin
Yeah.
says, he says it will. Like, all right. And we
I
just,
think
And it's like they said it will. So
yeah, Chris said it will.
The Basilica was one of those pins whenever Chris said that he wanted to do the bike, and I was sat there going, I don't really see how this is going to work. And
Yeah.
Chris was adamant about it, and I called Matt, and I think I was like, hey, he wants to do the bike. And even Matt was like, how's that going to work? I was like, I don't know. He says it's going to work. And then we got the pin, and it was like, holy moly, okay.
yeah, they nailed that one. So yeah, I keep trying to challenge them too. You know, putting things like that, or the spinner we did at St. Patrick's Day. That's kind of like, you know, my equivalent to like you do with the snaps or the, you know, different things like, you know, how many colors are in a shirt and that sort of thing. So I think we're kind of getting there on, okay, we know just about how far we can push it, you know, on the pins and all that stuff. So
yeah.
So I have seen the questions. What are Colin and I wearing? Yes, we're both wearing something new for you, something very calm and chill, and something very vibrant. So these are currently in the middle of the ocean, headed our way, and we can't wait to release them to you sometime soon.
I think this one right here is one of Matt's new favorites that he's got a slight personal connection to due to some your car club and everything. We don't have to name names, but there's a personal connection to it.
And there's something, even though this one is so simple, there is something really unique about it as well.
Yeah. If you guys, because I'd like to get it out there to show people what we're going to start doing on some of these flannels. I've always had the idea to sort of mimic sort of a cufflink, if you will, more of a high-end cufflink that you would find on a dress shirt or something like that. So if you guys remember on the La Katrina, we did all the snaps with the roses on them. And really what that was a nice little segue into what I've always wanted to do on the flannels. So some of the new ones starting to come up, you'll start to see that the snaps throughout the whole shirt are going to be whether they're purple, whether they're black, whether they're whatever color. And then the cuff snap only, if you can see here, so you can see the black snap there, but the cuff snap only will have a nice image in it. And we're not going to wear it out. We're not going to do it on every single flannel, but as we move forward, whenever it makes sense. And Matt and I normally talk about that whenever we're building out the tech packs. You know, does this one make sense? Have we done it on the last couple and we need to give it a break? But I hope everybody digs it. It's one thing that I've always wanted to do to sort of set us apart from competitors and, you know, pushing the manufacturer to constantly try new things, push them out of their comfort zone. Hopefully, you know, we can continue to do that and do some really cool, innovative stuff for you guys.
yeah, I've seen a couple of questions. One of them was a better look at the panels again. Assuming you're talking about the Newsboy, and happy to show that off. Of course, one of them, these just kind of alternate. So it's 8 panels that just kind of alternate each other. So the 4 of them going around are the Shaka fabric itself. It's real deep turquoise, and that is going to be, it's going to have a very slight herringbone pattern in it. A little bit of like a black overlay. They did a great job of matching this up and just kind of making it kind of interesting. And then this abstract thing that their artist drew, again, that was probably 2 or 3 years ago. This is one that they did. And so it just really fit nicely with this, you know, one of Alfonso's original fabrics. And I think that might have been a liner that they did actually on one of their major things, but we've just always kind of had it back and said, we're going to use that sometime. And then this geometric, that's the word I was looking for earlier. This geometric pattern sets it around. So, you know, those are them. Again, all of them come with the pen here, the Sugar Skull pen. And so that's the Patchwork Newsboy. And then the Shaka Flat and the Abstract. Again, I really like this pattern.
Yeah.
So
Is there a solid cap in the mix?
there is not a solid cap this time. This one's too fun. We've done some other turquoises and things like that, and this one is the one that we used as the sort of solid, if you will, is just all of this fabric here. So, and then I saw somebody ask the question earlier. the duck bill, again, what we're going to call the club cap, and that'll be a part of the next one after this, whenever that comes. So that'll be something to look forward to and a little bit different.
We are not looking for any more Harley dealerships. We have a current wait list of 15 wholesale accounts. Colin and I are at our max capacity right now of dealers and customers. So we're doing the best we can right now to answer that question.
So here's a question I've always wondered about, because we brainstorm a lot of ideas and all that stuff. So by the time you get to the point of asking Matt to draw something up, what percentage of those ideas end up being shirts? Or how often do you have one that's just like, man, we can't nail this to the standard we're looking for?
No, but by the time that we move into the artwork process, we're rolling forward at that point. I mean, the pattern's already. Yeah, the pattern's already done. I mean, Chris, that for 2027, what was it, months ago, we got all of the hand looms for 2027, and we laid them all out, and you were there, and we were able to look at them, organize them, and do all that. We were solid on that list, and we have since then changed it multiple times.
Somebody got creative.
Improved it.
Yeah.
Somebody got crazy creative on me, and I was like, you have to now make these 10 designs.
Matt's got to love that whenever I call him and I go, well, we need all these new, plaid packs built because I need hand looms made, and there's 12 of them, and that's almost half of what we're doing next year that's getting, replaced. But either way, it's one of those to where, I don't ever call Matt and start the artwork process until we know that it's something that we're going to do. There has been, I know one in the past at least, that we started down a certain direction of artwork, and Matt was I mean, he had drawn it up pretty good. His version of this is roughed in is my version of are you serious? That looks complete to me. But either way, it was one of those to where once we saw the direction, we kind of took a step back and kind of went at it in a different way, which he had to start all over to be able to do that. And I try not to ever do that to him, but that one time in particular, and I think we even talked after that fact, and even Matt said,
I will say that was one that we looked at the artwork and the flannel itself, and we both were like, just not feeling this one. Like, yes, it's technically there and the idea is there, but it's not clicking. It doesn't feel right. And as much as I was like, okay, I guess I'll start again, it was like we both were like, this is the right call. And seeing the product that we ended up with, it was 100% the right call. It turned out to be one of my favorite designs, just because the subject matter was so different. But again, it wasn't anything like I had my hopes set on it, and Colin said no. It was, we both looked at it and we're like, this just doesn't feel right. And so we just scrapped it.
I think that's one thing that I've been lucky with Matt, and I've always told other people this, that finding him as our artist has just been just a real blessing, because I worked with other artists before, and it was a lot of kind of beating your head against the wall, trying to get your point across, trying to get them to see your vision. There was a lot of times where I was like, I'll just do it myself, it's just not working out. And whenever Matt came along, I mean, I feel like we click on a creative level to where a lot of times, we bounce ideas back and forth off of one another. He sees my vision, but he adds his 2 cents. I like his direction. I mean, there's never any arguing or really any back and forth. It's not a fun, creative back and forth,
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like we've always clicked on that level, and sometimes, I give him direction, and there's other times, and he's even said this on the last live, that I go, hey, here's the theme, go for it. And, I try to do that more often, because, I mean, more often than not, whenever I tell him, here's the theme, go for it, what he does is just mind blowing. And I can tell you one to just mention, whenever we did the Fight the Stigma, that was one where I told Matt, obviously for the inside of the flannel, I think just doing the ribbon and the Fight the Stigma and all that stuff, right? Making it, very, direct to the point. Obviously putting Fight the Stigma up top, the Hales on the bottom, so that the theme is the most important thing. But whenever it came to the graphic, I was like, Man, there's a bunch we can do here, and I don't know, what to do. I think I shared some pictures with you, kind of going there's this direction and this direction and this direction, and he just kind of went off. I don't know how he came up with what he came up with, but I will be honest. Whenever he sent the artwork for approval, and I even told him this and told Jenna this, it was one of those that I saw, and immediately it almost brought a tear to my eye because I was just blown away by the symbolism in the artwork, and just how he
Very
did
original.
it.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah,
It's so thoughtful.
yeah.
Yeah, that one definitely took some thinking. That was one of the ones where I thought about it for a good day or so after we had chatted because I really didn't know. I really didn't know what direction I wanted to take it, and I knew it was up there on the importance scale to get right. And it's one of those ideas that honestly, the seed of it came to me just as I was falling asleep one night. Just where my mind is chill and I had an idea. I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea. I hope I remember that in the morning. And then luckily I did. And then kind of just played off of that. And then once I got into it, the idea just kind of came. And I was like, yeah, I think this could work. And to be honest with you, I wasn't sure at all when I sent that one away. I thought, man, this one is so different. This one's very like storytelling, illustrative. It's kind of back to my roots where like what I would do in school. Like it was very much that. And it was such a different vibe for Hales as a brand. I really didn't know. So when Colin came back and it was like, dude, like what? You nailed this one. I was like, all right, cool. That works for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's happened more and more times where whether I give you an idea or I just say go off and do it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that you come back and I'm like, yes, or it's we're 99% there. Let's make this minor tweak. But it's nice to work with an artist where we kind of have the same vision, the same goal. We're both detail oriented. We want it all right. We want to be able to put out a product and artwork and creativity that we both stand behind and we're both proud of,
Yeah. And if there's something not right, honestly, it drives me nuts. I'm not going to mention a certain one that had an issue with in the past, but I see that one still and I just like, I want to redo it. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. We'll have to.
Makes a great story now, though.
We'll have to go back one of these days and put that design on like a black T-shirt and put like this is the fixed version.
Right.
I have a fixed version ready to go. I made it just right.
He's already fixed it. Go ahead, Chris.
Just wanted to show saw a question a little bit earlier. Over the weekend, we did get the new Lairds out. They were supposed to drop last Thursday, but customs and that sort of thing happened. And so they came in right as we were leaving town and decided to go ahead and kind of grab one and get them dropped. But it's real quick. This one we called the Center. These are all by Laird Hatters out of England, out of right outside of London. We've done this one before. This is a really hot teal. It actually looks great with this shirt. Worn this combo several times as well. But summer herringbone, hot teal, Laird Hatters, England with FunkyBrims. Have the exact same cap in a blue herringbone, dark navy blue. And then the Oxblood. This is the Oxblood that we do every year that sells out pretty quickly. So it's in a little bit earlier this year. We will bring some flat caps in later as well, but I just wanted to have had enough people ask for it that this Oxblood color, it's the third year we brought that one in. So, once they sell out this time, they sell out this time, but we may get some more in the flat cap version and other ones, but that's the Oxblood. And then real quick here, I got at least one more, and that is the Dragon Scales in purple. There's also one in gray, which I don't happen to have. Oh, there it is. The Dragon Scales in charcoal and in purple. So all of those dropped over the weekend, and there's still some of those out there as well from Laird Hatters. And so appreciate those of you who bought it and kind of been able to stay with us as we've been traveling and, like tonight being a little bit late and everything like that. So, Matt, we'll get back to you here. I asked you the same question we asked before, but about the shakas only. Which is your favorite shaka you've drawn?
That's a good question. For me personally, and Colin and I have talked about it, it was probably the 1776 with all the old school tattoo designs. I know it wasn't the most popular one, but that was the one that I think I had the most fun designing and drawing it, just because I mean I love drawing that old school style traditional American tattoo stuff, and the chances to blaster a shirt with that design, with those designs, is a lot of fun. There's some coming up that I can tell are going to be up there for sure. Colin and I were chatting last week about some that are coming up, and they're going to be pretty wild and
Yeah.
pretty detail oriented. So that's something to look forward to next year. The ones in the past, this one surprised me. This Aloha Meurtos one, because when I was finished, I thought, "Whoa, that one has a lot of color, and that one is bright." And I don't. Again, I'm not a huge Shaka guy, so I didn't know how they be received. But so far, like what we're hearing is everybody's really liking them, and they like the fact that there are those colors in there. But I also like the simpler ones. The Shamrock one was cool with just the simple green Shamrock skulls. The Cheyenne, again, more of a patterned versus a Aloha style shirt. So there's a few out there that I really like. I have a soft spot for what was that one that had it was blue and had like the neon palm trees on it. It was one of the first ones.
Yeah, we on the night. Yeah.
Yeah. So a bit of a soft spot for that one because it is one of the early ones, and we were so early in figuring it out that from screen to print was one of those things like, okay, that's what we can do.
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, and I think we touched base on this last time, or I know Chris and I, we've talked about this before, but whenever we started making the Shakas, there was really no direction. The manufacturer really didn't give us any sort of direction. They didn't tell us, the pattern had to be this size or anything really. They just said, send us what you have. So Matt and I sort of discussed, how are we going to pull this off to make for sure that it's a pattern that doesn't ever have any line breaks in it. I mean, you got to think whenever it comes to a plaid, you're designing a square, and then you're telling them that square is going to get tiled on the shirt in 6 inches by 6 inches, and then they tile it on the shirt. Whenever it comes to doing a Shaka, it's not that way. You can't go, well, hey, I want this square and I want it tiled 6 by 6, because then the art wouldn't just flow. So, we had to come up with a way to do it. And luckily we were successful. And, finding a manufacturer that has the skill level to be able to line up the front closure on the Shakas, so that, you'll see some of these other companies, which I won't name names, but you'll see if say they got a skull right in the middle of the shirt, one side will have it and then the other side's got flowers. There's no skull there.
The pocket.
Exactly. Or on the pockets, it's the same thing. Or on the back yoke, it's the same thing. If you get one of our Shakas, you'll notice that the front closure, the pattern lines up perfectly. You can't even hardly tell that there's dual chest pockets on the shirt because the pattern lines up. And then even on the back yoke, the top part of the shirt compared to the bottom, once again, that's lined up perfectly too. So there's no break in the pattern. Really, the only break in the pattern is on the sleeves.
A little bit on the
Yeah. The collar and the sleeves. Other than that, they line it up all the way around.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting. I've had several people ask me, like, if you set a small and a 2X side by side, is it just blown up a little bit, or is it the same pattern and they just kind of cut it? And I think it's the latter. I mean, you kind of have to draw your pattern big enough for the 5X, but not put anything real important out there in the margins, but also not make it look like it's a margin, which is a real skill. And I think you've done a great job with those as well, especially I think the Villa Margarita. I really obviously like that pattern, and something I got to help have a part in designing it. But then kind of looking at them side by side, I kind of studied that one and was looking for the the Shaker's Assault and all that stuff. It was really interesting to look how those patterns just kind of kept going a little bit, but didn't seem like it was extra, or didn't seem like anything was missing.
Yep.
No, and that was the trick on that one, is we wanted to hide that Lost Shaker Assault in there, but we didn't want to put it outside those parameters to where even a single person that say got a small all of a sudden was sitting there going, well, where's my Lost Shaker Assault? So trying to hide it in the pattern and make for sure that every shirt from small to 5X had it in there was, once again, There was no guidelines. Nobody, the manufacturer didn't say, place it here, do it like this. Matt and I literally measured and came up with a way to do it.
Wasn't the last time we've done something like that too.
Yeah.
Got some more
I did see a question earlier that I wanted to answer. It is, this is taken off the shirt. I'm not sure exactly where this one came from, but I think, with the amount of fabric on a hat, it would be tough to not have somebody's asking, will all of them have skulls just like that? They will be randomly placed just kind of wherever the fabric was cut. It could be, let's see, this one again, it has a little, so it's smaller, but you can kind of see right up there, there is the start of a skull that, they cut it into smaller pieces there, but, not every single one will be lined up just like this, but I think with the amount of fabric on there, it'd be tough to not have, at least part of a skull on each one. But I just wanted to make sure everybody was clear on that. In the same way with the smaller pieces here, obviously, they could both be sort of like that don't have, a little bit of one on the side, but it is going to be randomly cut there, patchwork. So just want to make sure and be upfront about that.
There was a question for Colin and I, and it said, is it just you two? And it is. I think that's something that's overlooked every single day, is that it's still just Colin and I every day at our shop. My husband does the hot rod thing. He has really nothing to do with the clothing unless I call him for a photo shoot or need him to throw boxes.
He loves doing those.
Yes, or to throw boxes off the FedEx truck. It is Colin and I. It is Colin and I that you call for customer service, that is responding to your emails every single day, that is packaging your orders, that made the mistake packaging your orders. It's us every single day. So I just wanted to answer that question. When are these 2 drops coming? I don't know. I don't have a date. They're literally in the ocean, and we felt confident enough to show you the sneak peek tonight that they're really on the way this time.
We want everybody to know whenever we're jumping on the FunkyBrims live that you're at least going to catch some sort of sneak peek. So
right.
That's another reason to jump on.
Yeah, I got the notice today that a good chunk of the caps for that orange one got delivered. I obviously haven't seen them yet either, but that's a fun one.
The orange one
had a pretty big hand.
The orange one here, I just got to
one.
say that for the longest time, we've been seeing comments within the groups of people asking for a specific theme, and I've had to bite my lip for the longest time because this thing, I designed this like about a year ago. I designed it with the theme in mind. It's taken 5-6 months to actually produce it. They're going to get here and all that stuff, and people have just repeatedly asked for a specific theme, and I'm not going to give it away, but every single time I see it, I'm like, oh man, I really badly want to tell them like it's already in the works. Our work's done. Like it's coming.
I'm sure somebody will notice that short sleeve, so it won't be too much longer.
Yeah, that's one of the hard things is that we're usually about 5-6 months ahead of schedule, at least from when I'm done with it, and then I got to bite my tongue and wait too to show off what we've done. So.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's what a lot of people don't know is Matt and I, we're already into what, March? No,
March.
February.
Into February of 2027 right now. So it's always funny because I'll call him. What was that? That was maybe July, whenever I was literally telling you that, hey, we're finished with 2026. We're moving on to 27. And you were like, man, that's wild.
Yep.
So, and Matt is going to start working on some new shakas. I guess tomorrow. You're just getting back from vacation, yeah?
Yeah, I got back about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah. He's been gone this week. A little rest and time with the family. But we had a conversation. What was that, on Friday, right? Before you
left. Last week. Yep.
We kind of went over some shakas and had a very extensive conversation. Where at the end I looked at the time.
2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours. I was like, what in the hell? But yeah, we talked for 2 hours about these ideas, and it was strictly a shaka conversation. And I don't know if you've changed your mind since our conversation on which ones you wanted to start with. Or are you still good to go?
Yeah, putting pencil to paper tomorrow morning to start work on the one we agreed on. Trying to not say the name accidentally. to work on that one, which will be really cool. And then that'll be a good warm up for the next and
Yep.
the next and the next. And we'll
Yeah,
just keep on away.
Yep. I sent a new spreadsheet to everybody, so you kind of got an idea.
I will say the one that Matt picked to start on, Chris, you're going to love it.
All right.
No, Sarah's going to absolutely love it.
Sarah's going to love it.
Because I bought a coffee mug in her store that I had to have. But either way, yeah, you guys are going to love it. But I think, what was it? It was the one you're starting tomorrow, then the next one. And then the third one in the lineup was the one that you were like, okay, I gotta like crack my knuckles and stretch to do this one.
That was one. It was last night or the night before. I was sitting out on the porch looking at a lake, whiskey in hand, thinking, how am I going to make this one work? How am I going to make this one? How am I going to? And all of a sudden, light bulb. Okay, that's how we're going to do it. But yeah,
kind of like the Aloha Muertos. I think the best ideas happen whenever you got a whiskey in your hand.
Yep.
Great question. Somebody just asked, how long does Matt have after they have a conversation to come up with the artwork?
Oh.
We never put a timeline on Matt.
No.
If they have a conversation on a Monday, Matt will say, oh, I might be done by next Monday. And Colin and I never say anything. A lot of times by Wednesday, he's like, hey, guess what? I went to work and here you go. And especially if it's an idea that they quickly were like, oh, done. Let's rock and roll. So there's never a timeline for Matt. We never want to put the pressure on the artist. Just like there's never a timeline on building a hot rod. There's not a timeline on designing the plaid. Having that time to just let your mind run is super important.
That's what we try to discuss the artwork process, whether Matt's not going to start on it for another week. He might have some other work that he's doing for us or for somebody else. But we always try to have the discussion ahead of time. And, like most people, I can design one plaid and already be thinking about the next 5, and he's probably the same way. He'd be working on something because in his head, he's already got it laid out. He knows how it works. He can already be thinking about the next one.
I think that's a good question for Chris too. Chris, once all this is done, then how long does it take you to decide what caps you want to make?
I usually have a pretty good idea, that I'm looking for, really spend some time just looking at the pattern, looking at the colors and going, okay, this is kind of what I'm seeing and feeling. And sometimes I get surprised, sometimes I start laying out, different colors with it. And I'm like, oh man, that, I didn't really expect that color was going to work, but, and the people in Italy do a great job of suggesting some of those as well. But, sometimes I just see it and I know, like, the one Colin's got on right now, he just described that plaid to me and I had a pretty good idea what, that cap was going to look like. Whereas the orange one actually took me a little bit longer. That one was, so that one took, I sat there and stewed on it for about a week or so. And finally Sarah walked in one day and was like, oh, you got to do this. I was like,
yep.
Oh, yep.
Oh, got it. Yep.
There we go. And so, yeah. And so we did. So, yeah, somebody asked. Yeah, we do have some T-shirts for this drop. Not huge numbers. Most Hales will have most of those, but we do have T-shirts and just a couple of the hats as well, which is a great hat this week as well. I'll throw that out there if you hadn't seen it. The cork brim. We've done some cork brims.
We have a puppy dog saying hi here. Hi.
Yeah, somebody said they wanted to see the pin. So I'm going to run through these again, and then we probably need to jump off so everybody can get ready for this drop, which is happening in about 14 minutes. But that is the pin, Sugar Skull pin. That's probably a good look at it right there. And so, yep, that is it. And this is the Patchwork Newsboy, the Abstract Flat, and the Shaka Flat this time. So the 3 of them all come with the pin. And yeah, appreciate that, Daniel. Appreciate everyone jumping on, and we'll be back next Thursday. We'll be back home by then, and we'll make sure we're on time. So apologize for that for everybody, but thanks for hanging with us. And that's it. Again, Aloha Muertos dropping here in about 13 minutes here on Thursday night.
Oh,
so,
she asked that question a couple of times, or Steven, sorry. The blue
Yeah.
collar is, we do have 2 more short sleeve blue collar. They're not in the ocean yet. I don't know when they're coming.
Soon. Yeah.
And then we also have already ordered and waiting on long sleeve, some new colorways.
Those will be getting shipped here pretty
So
soon too.
it's all in the works. It
Yeah.
really is. It's just some of this stuff takes a lot longer than others. And for some reason, this is one of those that's taken forever.
Yeah.
Couple of questions there. Was there a cap of the week this week? Not a new one. Again, we're traveling. We'll leave the same one up from last week. If we change that, we'll just put a big blast out on the webpage or something like that. And yes, we do have some nice stuff planned for the holidays this year on Christmas time. And let's see. I think that's it for right now. Yeah, we're looking forward to the blue collar as well. And so appreciate it, Colin, Jenna, and Matt, for you guys being on, talking that again. And good luck with the drop, everyone. And we will see you next week.
Thanks for
Bye,
having
everybody.
us.
Bye, guys.
Bye.